Yes. Welcome to It's Balloon Party 101 ESPN. A calm, almost gangster cool Timothy Michael McKernan and a flustered Jackson Bennett Burkett.
Yeah, it'd be cool, too, if I didn't have to work these knobs and levers. I'm over here sweating. All right, we're good, though. We're golden.
I don't whining.
That's not what you've lost the clubhouse, Tim.
314-399-9646. Text into the Air Comfort Service, text inbox, the YouTube chat. The camera sponsored by the Air Alliance team. You can get involved in the YouTube chat and talk it over with us here on this this radio program, which is also a podcast, which is also a YouTube show, which is also Jackson's Little Piddles Monday weekend wrap up. What? I don't know. I don't know if I was just. What just happened?
I got something stuck in my throat. We're good.
Oh my God! I thought you were projectile vomiting.
No.
If you were watching on YouTube, you were handsomely rewarded, and I don't know if it was picked up on the camera, but could somebody create a GIF of that and send it to me? Stat. I like Jackson's shirt today. That's from Turd Ferguson, 215.
Thank you. Vaughn was critical, but, you know.
Coaches John and Dean Ellis says there's an alarming rate of angry baseball dads at the Dick's Sporting Goods in Fairview Heights.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I've been to that Dick's Sporting Goods. I wouldn't necessarily call it a scene, but...
Poor Hackson worked so hard. That's a play on your name. It's Jackson,
I was just hacking up
calling
along.
you a hack.
Yeah, well, it's clever. I was hacking up along there. We got... Oh, Lord.
What is going on?
I mean, Rocky treats this like it's like a pantry, not with food, but there's tissues everywhere. I got no space to work. I come in here, I got 8 seconds to get ready. I got audio galore. I got to get the YouTube set up. My laptop might as well be a paperweight at the moment. A lot going on. And now he's going to talk in my ear and disrupt my flow.
Wow. Rocky is talking in your ear?
He's about to be. I can see him. He's gunning for me.
Rocky, you can come in here so the people can hear, so you guys aren't having a private conversation. I mean, you've been slandered. Defend your honor, ladies and gentlemen, from St. Gabriel's and also CBC of the MCC. Ladies and gentlemen, bring in Matthew J. Rocchio.
Pitch on nobody going. Well,
he seems to standing outside.
Hey, can't handle the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
Wow, how about this? Making his way into the studio, some kind of delay, Matt Rocchio.
To the mic, sir.
I was coming in here for a completely different reason. What's up?
Well, it's just a lot of... Seems to be...
Jackson's unpleased with the way that you've left his workspace.
Well, my apologies.
Okay, well, that kind of takes the air out of this fight. It just seems to be a real haphazardous approach to the handoff in terms of my workspace here. I have a lot of needs, and they're in my contract, too. So,
is that right?
Yeah, like, you know how some players get a suite on the road. They don't have to have roommates. I have a clean workstation clause where I don't have to do any cleaning. It's clean for me when I arrive. Oh, because I'm a star.
Did we get you guys on a little early today?
No. Yes. Or I was fumbling around on my walk over here.
It was a busy show. I apologize, Jackson.
No, I get it. No, you guys
had Joe Buck and Chip Caray on at the same time.
Yes. Well, two separate times, actually.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, because Chip usually joins us on Monday, but we had Joe come in at 7:45 and talk about that. And I mean, I'm really excited about the broadcast.
I can't wait.
Great. Friday, City Connect jerseys as well.
I'm sorry, Jackson.
More on that later.
What are the reviews on the opening drive on the City Connect jerseys?
You know what? They were pretty positive, actually. People were actually pretty happy with what they saw.
Now Jackson just made a sound and then rolled his eyes. I caught it.
I was disappointed with how positive people were.
The positive is that we dodged a bullet. We could have gotten...
That's a negative to me.
Well...
I wanted horrible. I wanted it to be awful.
The hat is so bad. The hat is... it's the same hat, just deconstructed. The STL logo is great. But it's just a deconstructed, weirdly spaced version where it seems like someone just taped it on there.
My take on the hat was that the hat is in the uncanny valley because it looks like something I would like.
Could you define uncanny valley?
It's when something. It's like when a movie, they like a CGI character is supposed to look human, but you in your brain know that they're not. And so
Patrick Swayze and Goose.
Yes.
Benjamin Button.
Yes. The example I used was the early 2000s Polar Express movie. Was a big uncanny valley. It freaks people out when you see stuff.
Boy, you're mad about that?
Bad.
And really?
The hat.
Wow. I thought that was like a classic for children.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie.
It's bad.
But here's the thing.
Once you get past the hot chocolate scene, it falls off of an absolute cliff.
Right?
Much like the movie, the hat has all the ingredients. The color's good, the white pops, the STL, even the old school logo with like the frill on it looks kind of cool. But I look at the hat and it doesn't pop though. It doesn't look good, but it should. So it's in the uncanny valley.
Yeah, I'm not high on the hat.
I'm not. Yeah.
Here's the definitive take on the hat.
Oh, definitive take.
You go with the fleur-de-lis on the hat. That they go on they have it on the sleeve. They have the fleur-de-lis. You just put that on.
I like
You put that on a red hat. Gorgeous.
I wouldn't have minded that.
Then you have a unique, cool hat that they would only wear once every couple of weeks, and people would buy that. This STL.
New Orleans Saints.
I don't.
You put because the patch on the sleeve is a fleur-de-lis that's got the arch in it, right?
Something like that.
I think you just take that
exact
combination,
logo.
the patch logo on the thing, put that on the front. That way, it's not New Orleans. It's St. Louis with the arch in there. I like that idea, Jackson. That's a fantastic
Get it
idea.
changed in time, Jackson. They're going to use them on Friday night against the Cubs.
I like the pants.
Same time, Chip Caray and Joe Buck will be calling the game.
Yeah. No, please, Rock.
Cardinals are coming. Tra-la, tra-la.
Do you see what I'm dealing with here?
He just knelt down in front of you.
I know.
And I felt like I'm back on TMA.
This is supposed to go on commercial breaks, Rock.
The Cardinals are coming. Tra-la. Hot take on a hat from someone who badly needs to wear one. That's from the dude.
Who said that? All right, easy. Peanut gallery.
That was uncalled for.
Yeah. I mean, Jackson, that's in the YouTube chat.
Whatever.
The STL hat resembles one that a stay-at-home mom from Clayton designs for Etsy store.
It's not wrong.
That's from coaches John and Dean Ellis.
That's the thing is, like, you see it.
Coaches John and Dean Ellis. I don't know if we have something to give. But
Don't you have a listener who that's her job, isn't it?
Well, what I'd say is that's accurate.
And self-made stay-at-home Laduma.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that what her business model is?
It's just not. It has like no bearings to baseball. It just looks like a bad cap you would buy at Lambert when you're coming through town. Like, here's this STL hat, and this is what we're going to put.
I am disappointed in the hat. I expected it to be the Lou thing.
Yeah, that was to be expected.
Matt Rocchio's had enough.
Yeah,
he's
don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Wow.
I love Rock.
Coaches John and Dean Ellis winning today's program in the YouTube
strong.
chat. 119 Friends of the Feather have gathered to talk it over, and that is wonderful. Plus, you can text in Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 and get involved on this radio program. Jackson's turning around to read the YouTube comments, so if you want to talk with Jackson, now's your chance.
I just, back to it.
Is that right? You're turning your back to it.
Didn't love it.
Your mom's boyfriend said the hat should represent St. Louis. Put an expired temp tag on it.
Yeah, it's not bad. They kind of had that hat there last year, 2 years ago.
Everybody's winning in the YouTube chat, I've decided.
Yeah, where there was like Yachty and Waino celebrating, but it kind of looked like someone ducking from gunfire. That might have been more. But I just think the fleur-de-lis, make it just the STL. Like, it looked like it took 8 seconds to decide this will be the hat.
Yeah, this is a program that's passionate about uniforms.
And we're proud of it.
Yeah. And the hat, but I mean, here's the thing. I guess I expected everything to be worse.
Yeah, exactly.
And so therefore, like, I knew it was going to be the Lou. And I'm just like, whatever with that. I mean, that's so.
Yeah, right. Clever. It looks like batting practice uniforms, but when you look around the other City Connect jerseys that are out there, a batting practice uniform is accepted because they could be in a real spot.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because you can give a perspective that I can't relate to, and the reason is I'm a meat and potatoes guy.
Sure.
Common man. Playing in your member guest here in a couple weeks. Thanks for asking me out.
You bet.
But will people who graduated with you at Horton Watkins be purchasing the Lou jersey and wearing it around St. Louis Central Corridor this summer?
So I have here's what I'll say. In college, we used to have a lot of jersey parties, which is really original. No one else really did that.
And this was all guys, I just assume.
Oh, 1,000%. Jersey, we played beer pong or something, all our jerseys. 90% of the jerseys were basketball jerseys. I would say 3% were baseball jerseys, and then a mix of anything else to round it out. Baseball jerseys aren't really like the best to wear, kind of. I know they're short sleeve shirts essentially, but the button up, it just is kind of a weird look. So no is the answer I will give on that, but I think it's more a reflection on baseball jerseys in general.
I see.
Jerseys are a better option. If they make a jersey out of that, I wouldn't buy it, but I bet people would be more inclined to buy a jersey. Jerseys are also really expensive. And you get that cheap
Central
ass
Corridor, though, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like Then who do you get on the back? Like what player on this team is inspiring you to put that number on the back? Newt?
Salt and pepper.
Yeah. Mason Wynn? I like 0. I love the number 0.
So what jersey do people wear in your Central Corridor?
Basketball and soccer jerseys.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah.
NBA? The association?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Man?
A lot of the throwback
A lot of
NBA.
T-Wolves going around?
No, not a lot.
Zerbiak?
A lot of Wally Zerbiak, yeah, and Kwame Brown jerseys. No, it's mostly a lot of throwback, but still NBA jerseys. Yeah, Vancouver Grizzlies really popular. The old
So
Raptors
if I
one.
were to ever be able to get into Ladue, like just drive around the streets just to be like, hey, kids, can't live here, but hey, look.
Right.
I would just see a bunch of people walking around in T-Wolves jerseys.
Well, if you went to we'll do middle school and walked around, but then we're opening up a whole another can of worms there that you probably don't want to be involved in. So I would say but when kids are wear a jersey, they're more inclined to wear a jersey of soccer or basketball, more, and maybe even hockey. But I think it's a wearability thing. Football jerseys also look a little ridiculous.
Okay. All right, I'm following you. So you're saying it's not about the popularity of the sport, it's about the quality of the jersey for a fashion display.
It's a two-pronged sliding scale.
Okay.
And certainly the fact that baseball jerseys aren't flying off the shelves is a reflection on baseball, but it's also a commentary on the wearability.
That's good takes. Hey, John Mozeliak did an interview. I recommend this interview wholeheartedly. I thought Frank Cusimano did a hell of a job in the interview with John Mozeliak. It aired on Sports Plus, and you can watch it on KSTK's YouTube channel. Major recommendation. I was watching it this morning, sending clips to Jackson for TMA, and I want to play some of those. I don't know if they played them on the opening drive or not.
Sure.
We're over there doing HD2, but either way, I think it warrants being discussed here on this program with a number of the answers. So we'll have that for you. We have the Little Piddles weekend wrap up, and Xander Schauffele wins the PGA Championship. Jackson, what else? I don't know. You said you had a sports media question.
Little sports media question.
All right. I mean, Battlehawks clinch a playoff spot. It's all there for you, and it's all coming your way on Balloon Party 101 ESPN. James Carlton is my insurance agent. Just saw him, as a matter of fact. He was in the studios on TMA. What a wonderful gentleman. He is online at carltoninsurance.net. His number is 314-961-4800. He is my insurance agent. I would love for him to become your insurance agent as well. I made the switch to James Carlton in 2019, and I was having an emergency situation with our home. James had already been advertising, but I had not made the switch. And he came over, and he was like landing at Lambert, and he came over. I mean, it was unbelievable. Well, ever since that's extenuating circumstances. Ever since, it's just been one of those things where I'm like, man, I wish I would have done this sooner. Just does an incredible job, proactive, and has a huge staff to make sure that the customer service is for everyone and not just the people doing commercials for them. It's James Carlton, carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Boy, we were very close to Timberwolves talk here. As I had run to the restroom and the door opened and Jackson used profanity.
Yeah.
Used our Lord's name in vain, as a matter of fact. And we'll talk about that in the post-show meeting because that was offensive. But wow, I rushed back. It was almost time for T-Wolves talk. Right here on 101 ESPN. Welcome back. It's Balloon Party. And it's driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Jen, if you have a complaint, please contact Jackson's private secretary. It sounds like there are complaints from somebody named Jen in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, we have a very thorough complaint department at Piddles LLC.
Let's see. That is BS. Hey, Tiny, what the heck? That is BS. That's Jen Phone talking it over with Tiny PP in the YouTube chat. 133 Friends of the Feather have gathered. Why don't you join in there? People are complimentary of your shirt today.
Oh, you're talking to, okay. I thought you were talking to like the proverbial, the royal you. Why do I not? Yeah, because people are in there spitting rat poison. I'm not looking in there.
There can be no rat poison spat when you present the Little Piddles Weekend Wrap Up here on Balloon Party 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Jackson, bring it.
Woot, woot, woot. Tim, you referenced the Frank Cusimano interview.
It's a great interview.
On
KSTK. I tip my cap.
Yep.
You know, if I didn't think it was a good interview, I'd just say Frank did an interview. But if I thought it was good, I thought it was really good. I mean, not that Frank needs to hear that from me. I'm just saying I appreciate a good interview. And I thought he asked the only question that he didn't ask about, and who knows, maybe he did, and was the Marmol extension.
Right.
What was that about?
That's all you really, that's the question right there.
Yeah, that's it. But everything else that I would ask, it was asked, and I thought it was great. So tip of the cap to Frank.
So any question I have about the Cardinals, we can refer to the interview because Mosaic probably talked about it, including Cardinals winning 2 of 3. But despite their inability to finish the series, there were some real crooked numbers put up by the offense. Gorman, Nootbaar, and Burley all getting it going with the lumber. When you see a team perform at the plate like the Cards did over the weekend, what stands out to you about the energy of the team and your faith in them to sustain it? Take a game like Friday. In your mind during that game, do you see a team that looks ready to progress or just a one-off hit fest? This question I wasn't super... There's time.
You've had some rough leads lately.
That's the problem.
Okay, let's talk about you and your rough leads lately.
Well, because it's 1 of or 3 of 162 games where nothing really progresses.
But, I mean, last week they did win 4 of 6 games.
Yeah,
they went 2-1 in Anaheim and 2-1 here in St. Louis.
But
one of the best fans of baseball.
It is
One
funny.
ovation for Tyler O'Neill. I know that was sincere.
Yeah, and they had to submit it. No, it's the question that will always be asked in these situations is a good run like a 4 out of 6, winning 2 of 3 against Boston, a sign of things to come or just more mediocrity down the road? And that's kind of where the Cardinals are at right now until they have like a 2-week sustained winning streak in a way, or winning ways. I
don't know what just happened at the end of the question, but I was about to answer it. And I think you can go back also, include the final game against Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. They were, I don't know, I mean, for real, less than a foot away from maintaining a lead on Saturday night against Milwaukee. I know we're going back 9 days, but you do look for sample size. I agree with that. Here is where you have, if you want the macro perspective, here is where you have issues. This is something you were as banty as I think I've ever seen you actually this morning. I don't know what happened. Are you upset about the Pacers winning?
No. Okay. The Knicks succumbing to their injuries was
inevitable.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Okay, but either way, you were loaded for bear. But I agree with your overall perspective. When you're any team, I suppose maybe with the exception of like a Dodgers kind of operation, it's difficult to give away a game. When you're the Cardinals, and in particular in this moment in the Cardinal season with the record that they have, the Matthew Liberatore thing is a real problem.
Yeah. And
they were able to win one of his starts in Anaheim. It wasn't because of him, but they weren't able to overcome it in St. Louis. And so here's my macro perspective on the Cardinals and what you've got here. Number one, the fact that they went into the season reliant upon Steven Matz and older pitchers is irresponsible. But again, going into the offseason, I kind of had an idea of what they were trying to do. They were just trying to innings eat. So fine, that's what you want to try to do. But your innings eating business method doesn't work if you do get innings at 8 in the Gray starts, theoretically the Michaelis starts, theoretically the Gibson start, and the Lynn start, and those aren't sure things with 3 of the 4.
Especially the latter.
Michaelis pitched very well, though, on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But then when you go into the 5th spot, and whether that be Matz or now Liberatore, you then light the whole business model on fire because now the Cardinal bullpen is spent from having to clean up that mess. And that's operating on the premise that the other 4 do come through for you. And so to not really have a net speaks to the lack of organizational depth at the pitching spot. That's a big problem. So while they've won 4 of 6 in this past week, and then you include the last game of the Brewers series, 5 of 7, and that's certainly encouraging, and the offense, not yesterday, but overall, moving in a positive direction. That's great, no question about it. But what I think realistically, I think from a ceiling standpoint on the pitching, it's just not really that high. You know?
Oh yeah, agreed.
You know what I mean? And so, but then when you have one of the starts that's the bottom falls out, I don't know what the solution is either.
No.
The offense, I expect to be better than it was the first 6 weeks of the season, and perhaps we're seeing the start of that now. They also didn't necessarily go up against great pitchers. I don't know who the best pitcher they faced in these 6 games. So,
I don't think anyone is that much more lethal than the other.
All kind of whatever.
Yeah, mid
Griffin Canning,
right? Mid rotation guys.
Cutter Crawford, Dick Pavetta. I don't know.
Pavetta got him the hardest, I would say.
So I don't know. But I mean, also look who he faced. I mean, that was the Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Let's take a day off. We got. So either way, hey, you win 5 of 7. There's no other way to spin it other than it's a positive. What it concerns me is from a 2024 perspective, you got Liberatore going out there. I don't think you're going to see him get a start again unless it's like an absolute emergency situation, doubleheader situation. And then from a macro situation, then you get into the pitching situation in the organization, which then gets us to John Mozeliak and Frank Cusimano on Channel 5. Do you have that soundbite where he is asked about who he is high on in the organization? Take a listen. Here's John Mozeliak with Frank Cusimano on KSTK.
I think somebody like Tink Hens has a chance to do that. I think Roberts has a chance to be a really good starting pitcher. I think Sajasi is someone that really understands how to hit, and I definitely think he's going to be an impact bat at some point. And I think we have some catching prospects coming up as well. And so it's a nice blend of what you're seeing in our system. Now, we've got to hit on some pitching. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And when you look back at the last 15, 20 years, we were getting guys that were contributing to our rotation. And I think that's the most important part we have to focus on moving forward.
And that is the core issue. For me, as both somebody who hosts shows and also as a lifelong Cardinal fan, that it looks to me like the pipeline is I don't want to say it's dry because it's not dry. Dry would indicate there's nothing, but it doesn't have much.
Yeah, and it's not ready to come up.
And so right now it's like you're in the battle. And you're in the midst of the battle, and the battle is 2024 and trying to see if you can salvage 2024, which I think, by the way, is possible, not necessarily because of the talent of the team so much as the division. I'm just not sold on the 2 teams that are above 500, the Brewers and Cubs. And maybe I should be. I don't know. I'm not. So I still think the Cardinals could wind up winning something in the mid-80s, and that may be good enough to win the division. With that all established, beyond 2024, a year that at this moment certainly doesn't look real great, but who knows? Beyond 2024, what do you have? And that's where I get into, and you just heard, he gave you 2 pitchers. We've heard about those guys, but there's really not much else there.
Right.
And that is when you get, and Tink Hens is not, he's a double A. He's got a 3.14, I believe it's 3.14, ERA 1.08. Whip through about just shy of 40 innings. You've talked about Roberts and him being the guy that you would think maybe the guy that would get an option up here next. They called the pitcher this morning, but he's not a starter.
Yeah, right, the guy from WashU.
Yeah, Washington University, actually.
Love to see it.
So from that perspective, that's what concerns me. John Mozeliak was asked about a couple of different topics here with Frank Cusimano, and I thought it was a great interview. What other clips stood out to you, Jackson? We played them on TMA.
Talking about trading away some of the talent that has
This was very good.
appeared over the last few years on other teams. Here's what Mozeliak had to say.
So we live in a negative society, and you probably know that better than anybody right now. But people, I think, forget some of your trades. The very first one was for a World Series MVP, David Freese. Then there was Matt Holliday, 2011, all the pitching moves that helped this team win a World Championship, Goldschmidt, Arenado. But what people remember are Garcia, Rosarina, Alcantara, Gallen. And I'm wondering, when those highlights come on and you see those stats, how do you feel about guys that you had that are thriving elsewhere? Is it just part of the game, or does it sting a little bit?
No, it stings, but, if you're not making mistakes, you could also argue you're not trying, right? And so, a lot of the examples you've cited, I'm not sure the stories are completely written there. The one I think you can definitely say was a bad deal was, Sandy and Gallen, because that is what it is. But some of these others, I still think, like Libby could still emerge as being either a frontline starter or an elite reliever, and the ROI on that might end up being, comparable. And, I know we get beat up a lot on Adolis Garcia, but, 28 other teams could have claimed him as well. And even Texas put him on waivers again. And, it's a great story now, but there's a lot in between. And so I think for us, it's like, we wish we had, everyone we made was perfect, but they're not.
The one part about that, because I agree, I mean, the math is complete on the Gallen Alcantara. I thought he was honest throughout the course of the interview, which again you can watch on YouTube, KSTK's YouTube channel, to break down the Liberatore thing and be like that. I mean, because you got a Rosarena now with 5 years elsewhere and producing at a high level, and Liberatore. That interview was recorded before yesterday, to be clear, but just because of yesterday's bad start, you don't go, hold on a second. This has been trending this direction for a while. Solid out of the bullpen, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going to have to happen for Matthew Liberatore to be considered even in the same ballpark as what a Rosarena has done and most likely continues to do, at least for some amount of time. That's just one that you also got to go, that doesn't look good. At the same time, you're the president of baseball operations and you're a tough spot because now you're crapping on a guy who's on your roster and who's taking the ball in a couple of days when he's doing the interview.
Right.
Ozuna is gone, so you can go, okay,
closed.
This one's over. It's closed. Alcantara won the Cy Young. Zach Gallen started for the National League. We know what we got there. And then one other one, Jackson, that stood out to you. Because the Trevor Bauer one gets people going. I know it's, but I mean, people do ask about it and whether one wants to roll their eyes or not. People do ask about it. And he was asked about Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer went on Twitter last week and said there isn't one team in baseball that has, 2 or 3 better starters in the rotation better than me.
Yep.
Here's what Mozeliak said when asked about possibility of bringing on Trevor Bauer.
Have you ever considered Trevor Bauer?
I haven't, in the sense of all the noise that was around that. I just don't know if that would be good for this community, good for our team. And I don't want it to make it look like I'm so desperate to have to win. I would do something that, maybe would fly in the face of our one's moral compass.
So, as you can imagine, that gets people going when they hear that because they're like, well, Trevor Bauer. Some say Trevor Bauer has been exonerated. Others say, well, there's still more to come. I want to make this as crystal clear as I possibly can. I am of the opinion that with the NFL, it was never probably in writing because that would not be the way that that's going to operate. Even a small business wouldn't do that. Hey, listen, Colin Kaepernick, it ain't happening. That didn't happen. It ain't happening. I think that's the same thing with baseball right now with Trevor Bauer. There is an understanding that it didn't happen. And you can like it, you can dislike it. You might be on one side on the Kaepernick thing and another side on the Bauer, whatever the case might be. That's what I think is going on there. Because from just a strictly baseball standpoint, I have no idea why somebody wouldn't give him a spot. You know, he's a problem in the clubhouse. There are plenty of problems in the clubhouse. They just don't have what Trevor Bauer had.
Can you win ball
And I'm
games?
not talking about St. Louis clubhouse. I'm just talking about problems in clubhouses in general.
Right.
Can you be an asset to a team right now? 100%. I don't even know how somebody could push, even if they say, yeah, well, I mean, I think he's guilty and he's going to be sued and it's going to be proven that he did this and that. Still, I mean, can he help a baseball team right now? Yes. I don't know how somebody could argue against that. But if baseball has said it is just not happening, then that's where I think it is. The moral compass thing is where Mozeliak is catching more crap on that one. Overall, you can listen to the entire interview on YouTube. It's KSTK's channel, Frank Cusimano and John Mozeliak. I thought it was a great interview. And I thought John Mozeliak was great in the interview as well as Frank. All right, we'll take a commercial break, come back with more of the Little Piddles Weekend Review here on 101 ESPN. Hey, this is Tim McKernan for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold, mildew, or broken tiles, you got to call the good people at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. And they've got this deal for our listeners. Call today. 314-347-0410 and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. You are their priority at the Bath Authority. Walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. Every unit's custom built. You pick the premium accents and accessories, including safety features like low-profile showers, grab bars, and shower seats. All Bath Authority products are 100% made in the USA and can be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Call today, 314-347-0410 to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
This is Action Jackson with a SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose yesterday, but take 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox over the weekend. They now have the Baltimore Orioles coming to Busch Stadium for a 3-game set. That first pitch tonight, 6:45, Sonny Gray on the mound for the Redbirds. And yesterday in the NBA, the Pacers defeat the Knicks 130-109. They will move on to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, in the West, the Timberwolves come from behind and beat the Nuggets 98-90. They will meet up with the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. That was another SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you for another 18 minutes. Jackson, I mean, this balloon party flies by, doesn't it?
Boy, howdy.
Thank you. Jackson, you're in the midst of this Little Piddles weekend wrap-up. We've talked a lot of Cardinal baseball. John Mozeliak with Frank Cusmano on KSDK. You can watch that interview on YouTube. We played some of those clips. The weekend that was, the City Connect jerseys, your tension with all of the producers here on the staff, highlighted by Matt Rocchio leaving what you call your workplace insufficient as far as sanitary reasons.
I mean, look at this. I have such limited space. We got this box of tissues here taking up 40% of my workspace. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Rocchio came in to defend himself, but he exited humbled.
Yeah, magenta-clad producers just feel they can do what they want.
So you think it's the fact that he's wearing magenta that's the problem?
You don't put on that shirt.
Marsh ever wear magenta?
That's not his color.
What's his color?
He can pull off a lot.
Wow.
I think he looks best in like a gray and light blue.
I hope they play this on the fast lane.
All I do is gas him up. They give me no opportunity to speak for myself. They speak for me. It's BS. But you don't put on a magenta shirt like that unless you got something to prove today. And I like that Rock. I like that he woke up this morning with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and then he decided to distribute that chip all over your workspace.
Yeah, well, that'll be worked on later today.
Wow, threatening.
Corrected.
Yeah, it was like a subtweet.
Yeah, what's up, Shining fans? All right.
Tavon Austin.
What?
Tavon Austin, former Rams running back.
Oh, who would subtweet? It's nobody, apparently, but something was cryptic. Someone was catching the hell. That's what's going on. All right, I got a question. Joe Buck, back in the booth for a Major League Baseball game on Friday.
On the opening drive today.
Yeah, outstanding work by the opening drive, and I cannot wait to hear Joe Buck and Chip Caray in the booth together.
With the City Connect jerseys.
That's the little cherry on top, quite literally. But first time Joe Buck will be calling a baseball game since 2021. Is
that right?
Yeah, last time he was in the booth. So very excited. Are you excited to hear Buck back on baseball, and do you think this is something he could return to in the future?
The magenta-colored producer,
magenta-clad,
thank you, said that he put a little clip from the opening drive.
Yeah, so this is kind of on Joe and the national narrative that he hates everyone's teams.
Yep.
You're doing the national game. Baseball's very tribal, very us against the world, and every game's on TV these days as opposed to when you and I were growing up, Randy. And so you get used to the rhythms and the sound of your own announcers, and your own announcers have a rooting interest that align with yours. And so, I mean, if you go back and listen to highlights of a Ray Langford play at the plate knocking over Darren Dalton, and I think I'm 21 or 22 and my voice cracks and I sound like Peter Brady. I'm a little boy trying to sound like a grown man, but I'm wearing my Cardinals emotions on my sleeve. And, the Cardinals are a part of my DNA. And whenever anybody would say, oh, your dad's rolling over and Jack Buck's rolling over in his grave, his kid's rooting against the Cardinals, it's like, no, it doesn't apply. I've got to really go about this an entirely different way. And I've talked to Tom Mee, the Cardinals director, when he directs for Fox games, he direct the game in a different way. So to go back and be kind of the local guy and do it the way I watched it when I'm at home, hoping the Cardinals play well and win, I think will be, it'll take some adjusting, I think, on my part, because I've done it the other way for so long. But I think it'll be a lot more fun and kind of a lot more freeing.
There it is. Joe Buck this morning on the opening drive. You can podcast via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers podcast and listen to the interview in its entirety. Chip Caray was a guest today on the opening drive as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
I think so,
I know
too.
Joe watches Cardinal games super closely still. He's very into following the Cardinals. So this will be good entertainment on Friday night. No question about it, Jackson.
No doubt, yeah. And plus, both Chip and Joe will be switching off color and play-by-play.
That's right.
And I'm really looking forward to see what Joe Buck is like as a color commentator, because who's been around sports more.
It'll be good. It'll be good entertainment.
Yeah, like even though usually color commentators saved for former athletes, but someone like Joe Buck, who has been around the game of baseball his entire life very closely, I'm very interested to see, especially Cardinals-Cub matchup, the history between Jack and Harry Carey. I think it's going to be just a real good time.
This Friday, coming up on Bailey's. All right, we will take a commercial break. Final segment of the program. Jackson, tease this for us. Get better at teasing. That's something that we always say is a mission statement on this show.
I got a fun quick hitter, and I also have a submission for So What'd Your Grandma Think? The off-reference media in this town, media in these towns.
Yep. Soft. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
That's coming your way. It's Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Oh, Jackson, it brings me back to the early days of Balloon Party.
So good.
I think they're working on a 30 for 30 on the early days of Balloon Party.
Culminating in my question about mayonnaise and Shane Beamer.
Right. Well, that was day one. So what'd your grandma think? The Open brought back.
So good.
Longtime Balloon Party listeners.
Yeah, they've been rewarded.
Yeah. What do we have today? So what'd your grandma think?
Denver Nuggets coach Michael Malone, after being up 20 points in the second half and losing their Game 7 matchup with the Timberwolves, was asked about the game. And let's just say he wasn't the most affable human being after the game, and maybe understandable, but here's the audio.
Well, how hard is it just to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Next question, man. The season's over. That's what's hard. Being up 20. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid ass questions.
The thing is, it was a good question. It was a fine question.
It was the only question.
I don't know. You haven't been in that spot. I doubt you ever will be.
Hope not.
It's not. Yeah, it'd be one thing if you make a bunch of money to do it, but you don't. If anything, you're living in abject poverty, and then you're down there, and then you have to. But you get to go to the games for free. You do, but the price is your manhood.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's you get emasculated. I've been there. Nobody's going to ask a question. Calvin May's nowhere to be seen. You got to ask a question. The question was fine. Yeah, I would say it makes it worse. It's brutal.
Yeah.
What, the Carolina Hurricanes? They're a hockey team,
right. Coached by Gilroy Cummings. They had a nice lead on the Blue Shirts.
Blue Shirts, that's correct, who are getting ready to host the...
for the Panthers.
That's right. Boy, a big day for you.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
The New York to Fort Lauderdale, that's just a perfect connection right there.
Those are your people.
That's where...
Manhattan to South Florida. No other airport needed. It's JetBlue through and through.
Yeah.
JFK, how do you do?
There's plenty of times where people have taken that trip from LaGuardia/JFK down there to Fort Lauderdale.
So, you're in a no-win spot. The question's fine. But I was bringing up the Hurricanes because they had a big lead on the Blue Shirts and blew it.
Yeah.
And that makes it worse.
It does.
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
I doubt they're still Game 6 in St. Louis. Like Sharks fans, they're probably like, oh yeah, we're going to for example, the Cardinals lost in the NLCS to the Nationals 5 years ago. It was a mafia hit kind of. It was just like, we were in the NLCS. 2001, they lost in the NLDS. They didn't get as far as the 2019 Cardinals. That still bothers me to this day. Why? Because it was a close series that could have gone either way. If you're the head coach of a team that had a 20-point lead in the second half and you lose the game, and by the way, that thing really wasn't close at the end either. So it was more like a 30-point swing than a 21-point swing. It's brutal. It makes it worse, and you're the defending champions, and you have Game 7 at home.
And you 3 out of 4 MVP.
And you have that, and then you also, after falling behind 2-0, and everybody was saying we couldn't do it, and you start talking about how we knew we could do it, and I started playing clips from the media saying we couldn't do it. You use the media to your advantage. Now the media asks a question. It's a fair question. I understand. Listen, you ask me that question, and I am in talks to coach NBA teams, obviously. I'll still do Balloon Party and TMA.
Right, you'll take over for Quinn.
I'll take over for Quinn. You're going to be pissy, so I get it.
Yeah.
But it was great to have so much your grandma thing.
Stupid ass questions.
I get thrown into the open.
Yeah, I know. I think that does need to be updated. All right, we are going to go. BK and Ferrari have requested. They have Mark DeRosa coming up at 11:15 to talk Cardinal baseball. So they requested that we get out a little early, so that's what we will do. Jackson will be back tomorrow with the Tuesday.
Oh, who knows? I was thinking I'm in between Piddler on the Roof or Enter the Woo Piddle. And, of course, after that, I'll have Woo Piddle forever.
Amen. Woo Piddle Suey. That's coming your way tomorrow.